Hello Weaklings, Emperor Neeson here with a champion spotlight on Apocalypse. Apocalypse is a new 2020 champion with a lot of utility and such a beast of a champion. So we're going to learn a little bit about him and see some gameplay to look to see how we can use his utility, his debuffs, and get some pretty heavy damage. So on his spotlight page here, Apocalypse has some strengths and weaknesses. Basic abilities: bleed, weakness, poison, concussion, and degeneration. So he can enable a lot of debuffs on your opponent. So strengths, he prevents a purify ability. So Apocalypse reduces the opponent's purify ability accuracy by 100%. So this is in most matchups against difficult purify champions such as Kingpin, Korg, and Mole Man. He's a really good counter for those type of fights. When he fights a mutant champion, he's able to rank up his genetic code quicker, and he's also his special attacks hit a lot harder. Prevents evade. So as the opponent evades, Apocalypse increases his chance to bypass evade by 10% for the rest of the quest each time an evade triggers. So great for any evade champion. Also great for an Alliance War Node 23. So Korg is a constant placement there. So Apocalypse is a real good counter for that Korg, as Korg will not be able to purify the stun debuff that Apocalypse places on him, and after, a bunch of evades, he won't be able to evade any longer. So pretty much negates all the hard stuff on that fight. Weaknesses: he has, against robots, he doesn't gain any genetic code from them. Stun immune, POC penetration, so he needs to land a decent amount of heavy attacks as he bounces his debuff, so just requires a little extra gameplay there. If the opponent is poison, degeneration, or debuff immune, obviously that's not a good deal. And he can take a couple fights to ramp up if you don't bring the necessary synergy team or don't fight a mutant right away. So abilities: he can stack up to 4 genetic enhancement. He starts each quest with 1 persistent genetic code. This becomes 2 if defending and 3 if defending as a final boss. If he knock out a non-robot opponent, he grants 1 genetic code. He gains 2 at the start of the fight when he's fighting a mutant. At the start of the fight, he gains 1 indefinite prowess passively for each genetic code, each increasing special attack damage by 40%. At 3+ genetic code, he becomes stun immune while striking, so he cannot be parried. And at 4 genetic code, striking the opponent block with a light attack inflicts a stun debuff for 0.08 seconds. Cooldown is 12 seconds. This has no effect against well-timed blocks. So basically, you can just hit into your opponent's block, and you'll eventually drop a stun debuff there for 0.8 of a second, which is pretty good. Okay, so we're going to see a little bit more here. He can develop immunity to bleed, incinerate, or disorient effects over 8 seconds while suffering from them. Once developed, the immunities persist through the entire quest. So that's really nice too, especially if you run suicides, happen to be on a path, caltrops, type path, when you dash back you bleed. Eventually he becomes immune to it. Again, he can bypass the evade, and they suffer 100% purify ability accuracy reduction. So we're going to get into some gameplay here. We're in Realm of Legends, the normal gameplay area there. Okay, so I have a 565 Apocalypse, and today I brought along a few synergy team partners here. So I brought Kang, so he starts the fight at 4 genetic code. I brought Mr. Sinister, so he gains a Fury buff when he's fighting at a class disadvantage. And I also brought Magneto just for an extra boost here. So I'm going to get in here with with Apocalypse here. He's going to start the fight with 4 genetic code, as you can see. So, things are pretty basic at the start. You want to just get to a special 1. And what you'll do is you'll be able to place a weakness and a poison debuff on the opponent, as you watch here. Now, generally, it relies on what basic attack you landed with, if it was a light or heavy. However, with 4 genetic code, you place both debuffs. Okay, so as you can see, we got a poison and we got a weakness. So now we're going to ramp up to the special 2, so we can get the other 2 debuffs. So when you heavy, he inflicts a stack of bleed for each heavy attack, and also refreshes his personal debuffs. So that poison and weakness, we refreshed it. As you can see, we're going to do the same thing here. So now we're in a special 2. So now we're going to launch this, and going to see some good damage here. See all the red numbers there? Yeah, 5,000, 4,000, pretty good, pretty heavy numbers. Alright, so now what we're going to want to do is get to a special 3, and we're going to turn those other debuffs into enhanced versions of themselves. So always make sure that we're refreshing the timer on those. All right, and then we're going to keep going back into it. I'm going to get up to a special 3, and that'll make enhanced versions of those debuffs. All right, so we got the degeneration, we have a poison, a weakness, and we also have a concussion debuff. All right, so now we're going to get into the special 3 here. You can see 74 hits in. You know, we're at 50% life left on the Winter Soldier here. So Apocalypse does some great things. He's good for so many, you know, different abilities here. So now he has enhanced versions of all those debuffs. As you can see, they're doing 1,000 damage a tick, and they're not going anywhere. They're staying on. So now you can see that damage really go. So after special 3, those you don't have to worry about refreshing those debuffs. So this ability with all these debuffs works really well with the Despair Mastery, where each debuff will, you know, reduce the effects of healing on the opponent by 15% if you go to max. So it's a pretty good thing. As you can see, he's just ticking away. And that should be it. Yeah. So pretty, you know, pretty quick work. 114 hits. You know, Apocalypse is very easy to use once you kind of understand his mechanics and how to stack up the debuffs on the opponent. Okay. So I'll get in here. We'll do a little bit of blocked hits here. We'll show you how he stuns the opponent on a hit on block. So there it is. So now he has a cooldown, as you can see on his bar next to his prowess effect. So again, get back into that special 1. Now, as you saw, a poison debuff wasn't placed on Captain Marvel. That's because she's immune to poison. So it's not going to get that second debuff. But when we get into the special 2, we'll be able to place that other debuff, which is the concussion and the degeneration. So I'm going to toss a couple heavies here, stack up some of those poisons, let her run her special 1. Alright, going to hit into the block, give her a stun, and then right into a special 2. So as you can see, he places the other 2 debuffs on her, and he's doing some pretty good damage. So now we're going to refresh. Alright, now we're going to bait out that special 2. There it is. We're going to refresh our debuffs, just kind of keep them going. And what we're going to do is we're going to ramp up to a special 3 again, so we can place those debuffs permanently and then add enhanced versions of themselves. That's definitely what we want. And then for the rest of the fight, don't have to worry about refreshing those debuffs. Alright, there we go. A heavy. We got the 10 into the special 3. Now we're cooking. So Apocalypse, from what I gathered and experiences we've had as an alliance, he's a pretty tough defender, especially later on in the quest. Huge pain in the neck. Even against, you know, certain champs like Magneto, where he's going to start the fight with 4 genetic code, so he's going to be very hard to stun. He's going to be very hard to deal with. You know, if he hits into your block, it's RNG based with Magneto, of course, since Apocalypse is metal. But even Magneto has some struggles with Apocalypse in Alliance War. You put this guy on a boss node, and yeah, you're going to get a lot of kills, especially depending on what tier war you're in. I mean, obviously, the higher tier you go, you know, this guy's a pretty easy fight at the boss level with a Guillotine 2099. But again, depending on what war level and tier you're in, if you're gold, if you're, you know, platinum, you know, chances are some of those guys are going to have some struggles, and you might catch a few people off guard and get a couple extra deaths to help your alliance win the war. So as you can see, just pummeling her down, doing some decent numbers here. So we're going to hit right into her block, stun, and boom, pretty easy. You know, he deals some pretty good damage. As you can see, we're on a cooldown, so hitting into her block with the light attack isn't going to do any good. Alright, so let's see if this will finish her off. Looks like it will. So there you go, there you have it, Apocalypse. Pretty good damage, so here we're at 160 hits. Yeah, a little bit of hits. If I had a rank 3 6-star, obviously it would be a little different. But this champion's really fun to use. You know, I enjoy bringing him in on Alliance War attack, especially if I'm taking for instance, Nick Fury on Mixmaster. I generally will try to take him, so I'll bring Apocalypse for him. Or anybody else for that matter if I have to face a Korg anywhere. I used to bring Omega Red, but now Apocalypse is my favorite Korg counter. So I hope you guys liked the video and the gameplay here, showing off Apocalypse a little bit. Just remember to like and subscribe to Emperor Neeson for more videos. See you, Weaklings.